proud of our team. The way we fought yesterday, there was still, a pretty significant amount of adversity we had to fight through. Defensively, Flo and his group, some of the adjustments that they made based upon some of the things we put on tape the first 3 weeks and how we could use that to our advantage. Thought they made some critical plays there in the second half to really help bring it home. Clearly led by Harrison Smith. So fired up for him, and so thankful for all that he means to our team, both as a leader, what he was about last week in his preparation, bringing the guys along with him. We got the right guys in this building, coaches and players. We're just going to go back to work this week. Heck of a challenge with Kansas City coming to US Bank Stadium, and as I told our team, I think it's very important that we continue to strive and work towards playing the type of performance at home in front of our fans, for our fans, to really truly make that the best possible atmosphere that we can, and challenge for Super Bowl champs from last year coming in, between Coach Reed and Patrick and everything that comes to town when you play the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be a heck of a challenge, but one, I feel our team is excited for the preparation and taking on such a significant challenge, and see if we can continue building on some momentum from yesterday. Just injury updates for you guys. Hoping to get Lewis Seen some limited work and kind of see how he progresses with that hamstring through the week. And then Garrett Bradbury was really close to trying to give it a go. Probably more of a situation where we had to kind of protect him from himself a little bit, just knowing how tough Garrett is and wanting to be out there with his teammates, but want to be sensitive with that back injury and expecting him to have a good week of prep this week and all more than likely have a chance, barring any setbacks, to have a good chance to be out there this Sunday. And then you guys will see just a roster move. Junior Aho will be waived today, just a procedural move as part of kind of getting him on the practice squad, part of that international pathway program. And it'll be great to have that extra body. Junior's been great since we've gotten him here, and he can't wait to get back out on the practice field with his teammates. But as far as Davenport, Metellus, and Murphy, those guys all came out relatively clean, and hopefully we'll get them some work and pick up where they left off yesterday.
How did you feel the O-line played just overall?
Yeah, I thought it, for the most part, outside of a couple plays here and there that are going to happen against a good front like that, I thought they were really physical in the run game. We had 4 explosives, 13 runs of 5+. Really was able, be a huge reason why we were able to, stay efficient. Did not have the day we wanted execution-wise on third down, but I thought the run game was really kind of the driving force behind us being efficient and getting some of the plays that we did in the pass game. And, that's been encouraging to see where we've gone kind of in that yards per rush category from a couple weeks ago. And now I think we're right around the top 10 now in actual yards per called run. So excited about where those guys are at. They've totally bought in, 100% to the technique, fundamentals, the mentality that we need to have them have. I think our tight ends have been a huge part of that as well. Can't say enough about Josh Oliver. Yesterday, again, some critical blocks at the point of attack. And then our receivers as well. We're backed up there, call kind of a power play off of our own, kind of in the shadow of our own end zone. And you see number 18 going in there, getting a hat on Von Bell and springing Alex for kind of a big hit there off to get that crucial first down in the backed up situation. So it truly is kind of, to answer your question, an all 11 thing. But the O-line and those interior guys, had a really solid day in the run game.
Just personnel-wise, with Rison, what was the thinking going in? Was it maybe getting him in the game, or did you know going in we're going to stick with this?
No, it's truly something where he's ready to go. We'll get him another good week of prep this week, and that best 5 mentality is going to hold true, and those guys know that. But I like the way that those guys have responded, and I like the way that Dalton's kind of come in here and continues to just grind away in his preparation and catching up with, scheme-wise where we're at. And I know Dalton will be ready to go when called upon.
Kevin, it seems like a lot of those fronts where it's maybe 1 or 2 defensive linemen and then linebackers and defensive backs kind of around that have popped up again. What makes that the most challenging thing for quarterbacks as they're trying to decipher that?
Yeah, I think it depends on the play. You know, if you're in, I don't know if you're speaking of identification in the run game or more so the protection element. There's just, you know, we saw dime yesterday. They were using Jeremy Chin in, you know, multiple positions, big nickel, playing safety, playing that dime backer. Just the communication and making sure we identify it the right way. A couple times we were going fast, trying to take advantage of either tempo or a quick cadence out of the huddle, and they got us on a couple there. It just all comes down to communication and getting that continuity up front and on the same page as Kirk each and every snap of a game, and you know, how we're being defended and the JJ program and just how some of those looks tend to kind of be different than just your standard 3 deep, 4 underneath zone defense. You know, there's some things sometimes we've got to work through on the sidelines, and I thought our guys did that. And then there's the situational element of going fast, or like we've had now for the third time this year, a positive play off of kind of one of those end of quarter sequences where we can possibly get a free one, and no bigger than, you know, a one-on-one when they're kind of hard to find sometimes for Justin, a one-on-one there, and Kirk doing a great job orchestrating that, holding the safety and giving, you know, really throwing it to a great spot versus a good matchup there.
Yeah, I was talking in some ways about the things that you guys are throwing at opposing quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
I guess to that point, how much does that develop when you have Marcus Davenport in there?
Yeah, Marcus Davenport just gave him a game ball not too long ago in the team meeting. The word that comes to mind, Ben, when I turned on the tape and watched him, was just disruptive. I mean, he's such a force to try to block one-on-one in the run game. Some of those looks we can get into, whether we're bringing pressure or not, allow him to take gaps when he wants. Had a great spin move rush versus a one-on-one on the guard. And then talked to the team about it the night before the game, visualizing 99, 0, 98, having a meeting at the quarterback. And it happened in some critical downs, really, when, you know, you saw us get off the field there when it wasn't Harry making the play. It was really one of those three guys. Pat Jones had made some significant plays in the run game. So those outside backers, if you're going to have multiple kind of groupings on the field, those guys have to show up from a disruption and physicality standpoint. And that's kind of what we envisioned for Marcus when we went out and got him. And it was just awesome to see him go out and make it come to life.
What about Bullard? How high a level is he playing at?
Yeah, I think, you know, he's so consistent, you know, doing his job in the run phase. Not only just winning his gap, but then, you know, making some plays at the football. And it's not always easy for those interior guys in kind of a gap sound defense to make actual tackles, but he's done it. He did it, you know, obviously on that 4th and short against the Chargers, and he continues to be a heavy presence on the interior. And Harrison Phillips has played a lot of snaps, but he's been really, really solid all year long. Dean showed up yesterday as well. And then J. Roy was up and kind of brings a little bit of athleticism to that group, still, you know, maintaining, doing his job. So we'll continue to build kind of around those interior guys. And then I think, you know, I think you'll see Tonga, you know, make an impact again this year as well. He's continuing to work, and we're just trying to find those right groupings, what we can have up on game day based upon what the whole plan is.
Kevin, can you bring extra pressure against Mahomes, or is that a recipe for disaster?
Yeah, I think whether you're bringing extra pressure or you're rushing for, you know, I think he is as good in our league that we have of a quarterback that, regardless of circumstance, can take whatever the situation is and turn it into a, you know, it could be the percentages would say based upon pausing the tape in that moment that something good is going to happen for the defense, and then you play out that snap and it turns into a catastrophically critical play for the offense. Just based upon his skill set to extend plays. He sees everything. And then most importantly, he can throw the ball anywhere he wants on the football field at any time. So you got to have really great discipline to your rush. If you do pressure, you got to feel really good about it getting home, and then you got to feel good about what the coverage is going to look like on the back end, because they've got weapons, clearly. The best tight end in football, you know, he lines up all over the place, runs just about every route in the playbook, and then they've got really good complementary pieces, you know, guys that can change the game at the wide receiver position. They've got backs that are great in protection, but also can be forces catching the ball. And the offense as a whole, we're really diving into it, but it's a huge, huge challenge to defend this team. We got to be at our best every single snap, and if you have any let up or any breakdown, he's going to find it and make a huge play.
Do you interact more with a week like this when you're dealing with Mahomes, with define what you want as a head coach?
Yeah.
Defensively, whether, I'm just assuming you can't do exactly what you did against Young as opposed to Mahomes.
Yeah, I think, I've tried to be intentional. I remember talking to you guys about, kind of in my reflection of, my first year, I've tried to be much more intentional about getting that time with Flo early on in the week. Anything that I could provide from a perspective of what I'm seeing as an offensive coach. Maybe if I was putting myself in the shoes of Frank yesterday or Andy and his staff this week, where I can see things that I would see, and hey, maybe you can line up like this and do this, or maybe you can. And he's normally already down that road. That's what I love about him, is he's always thinking about taking something and either repackaging it or changing the look altogether, or taking that look and running something completely different out of it. So it's definitely something I've tried to be intentional about, especially as the season's gone on over these last 2 weeks, and I'll continue to do so for sure.
Kevin, as a coach and a competitor, what do you enjoy most about a league like this, and where maybe 90% of America is picking the opposing team and no one is picking you guys to win?
Yeah, for me, especially with where we're at, after the first 4 games of the season, this team is kind of locked in on that. It's really not a cliche when you're living it, but that 1-0 mentality. Let's just have the best possible post-game Monday we can today. Players handle what you can handle on your day off and in your preparation, both physically and mentally, to then make sure we have a damn good practice on Wednesday and carry that over. Because I really think that's been a huge factor for us in the last really 2 weeks of going into these football games, feeling like we've earned the right to have confidence. And when you're playing a premier opponent that, causes so many issues really in all 3 phases, your preparation better be really good. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for some problems on Sunday. So we've got to control what we can as coaches and players, and that's just do everything possible to prepare our football team to have our best really effort yet of the season, and we're still looking for that game of winning the turnover battle, and we've got to continue to work to improve on that. That's going to be something we're chasing all season long.
Kevin, you talked yesterday about wanting more plays offensively. Why do you feel like that's such an important thing, and I guess what path can you take to get there?
Well, I think, Alec, the starting point is we've been yards per play successful. We just need those opportunities, averaging over 6 yards. I think we were right at 6 again yesterday. That normally leads to efficient offensive football. You've got to be good situationally, either finishing in the red zone or on third down, getting yourselves. That's kind of one of the reasons why I went for it on that 4th and 2, because I just felt like that was a moment where we needed for our football team a new set of downs, and it was worth the risk in that moment. We get the first down, and then wouldn't you know it, we go down and score. And I think it's just a mentality thing. Those guys got to understand. You didn't see very many guys heading towards the sideline after that. If there was 1 or 2, I was waving them right back on. They've got to feel that, and we just need that urgency every single third down from all 11. We cannot have that one individual breakdown and protection. Our quarterback's got to be dialed into exactly what we want them to do. We've got to be decisive, detailed in our routes, techniques, fundamentals. And when all of that comes together, you earn yourself a new set of downs, which for this offense is everything. We can apply tempo. We can apply different personnel groupings. We can kind of reset the stage of how we want to attack. But we need to convert more opportunities than we have over these last couple weeks.
Last 2.
With the 4 weeks gone there, are you anywhere close with Kane or Chris Reed in terms of getting them designated?
Yeah, I think both those guys are progressing. They're doing everything that they can in their control to work their way back. Talking to Tyler and Quace and trying to figure out what's best for those guys as far as when we open those windows. Those conversations will be ongoing. But, Kevin, I can tell you it does feel good to know we've got such quality players that are kind of doing their part to eventually have an impact on our team, because I do believe we're going to need everybody at some point this year to hopefully chase this thing down. Haven't had those conversations yet, but I'll keep you guys posted.
Kirk talked yesterday about Cam Akers and just how he can be good morale. So he was talking to himself in the huddle. What's your experience with him, and where does that morale boost show up? When you were in LA and what you've seen here.
Yeah, I think he's got a feel to him. in game of kind of that quieted mind that I've talked about before. I mean, there still are a lot of things that are new for him right now. And even yesterday, we're trying to go fast, and Kirk's having to basically do an install on the field in that moment, and just to make sure that he's good. And then he ends up springing a decent run right there when the 5 spiked inside. But Kirk just, I had a conversation with him as well. It's never going to be too big for Cam, regardless of the situation. As long as we keep preparing him and seeing how he complements Alex when those guys can both stay fresh and be maximizing their opportunities. It was exciting to see that yesterday. I thought he had some good hits in the gun, kind of really seeing it, finding it, patience, and then Cam's always going to have a real firm, solid finish, just like Alex does, where yards after contact should be a good number for him.
Thanks, everybody.
Cool, guys. Thank you.